I'm turning off the video camera. But I mean, to walk in, I mean, Eddie's like, you know, have you seen the show? I'm like, yeah, I watched the show. He said, well, where are you up to? I went, I think I saw episode 7, I'd seen Hero by that point. And then, of course, Kara's dead. Everybody's in the mausoleum mode. Everybody's really pissed off. And I arrive and I'm like, this isn't the happiest place on earth. And then he comes up with a stack of DVDs and goes, you should watch these. I sat in a Chinese restaurant in Vancouver, having ripped into my iPod. Sat in a Chinese restaurant watching rough cuts of that season of BattleStar that hadn't aired yet. Crying my eyes out at times and just going, wow, this is just, it's amazing where it's going. You know, amazing, great day in the life. Poignant things I remember. Obviously, your death and demise. Incredible character arc to watch you go through that and to share that with you. To watch you go through the most extraordinary. You know, how does Zarek? You know, Zarek can never win. With this wonderful debate we had about the fact that he'd done it two years too late. 2 years earlier, he might just have made the coup, but because he picked the time, there was no way he could win. The very thing that destroyed him was, you know, it was just an amazing time to watch. The whole period of time when you shake your head, the most extraordinary thing to watch. Just watching you as an actor go through that period of dealing with Callie, and that section is just beautiful to watch as an actor, watching an actor. And Day in the Life for me is one of my favourite things I've ever seen you do. Day in the Life is great. Yeah, I love that episode. As a standalone, a lot of people didn't like it, but it broke my heart. I loved every second of that. And I watched this as a fan, and yet I was there doing it, which is like the weirdest thing. I'd sort of show up and go, I got the coolest job on television. I get to hang out with the coolest actors, tell the greatest stories, and basically speak poetry for hours upon it, which is what Roma was. And there's been nothing, so far there's been nothing like it. I hope there are things, as Richard said, I hope there are things in the future that are like that, because it was an extraordinary experience that will never leave me. And as Eddie said, absolutely, you guys were a huge part of it. You know, the Moore Romo thing was the funniest event of my entire life. Ron Moore goes to a book signing in New York and it sends me a photograph of him holding a Moore Romo sign. From that moment on, nobody would leave my life. I love it. It's you guys. It's just an amazing experience. I love every second of it. But there are no bad guys. Just you know.
Question from the side. First of all, I want to thank all of you for coming here, and I hope you keep coming. As Mark just said, one of the best things about BattleStar Galactica is that it's really intelligent, and it leads us to re-examine our beliefs and to think critically. My question is, what other shows do you all watch? What other novels do you read? What other films do you go and watch that make you think about these kind of deep thoughts of identity and politics and religion?
Fox News. All right, I'll just kick it off. If you haven't gotten turned on to Ray Kurzweil, please read him. Singularity is near. You have to really understand this thought process that's going on the planet as we speak. The SENS Foundation. Anybody ever heard of the SENS Foundation? S-E-N-S Foundation? You have today. I highly recommend that you go online and just put SENS Foundation. And the very first thing that comes up when you Google it, just press it. And you're going to run into a man by the name of Aubrey de Grey, who's doing rejuvenation life therapy. I mean, it's amazing where we're going, guys. And what has been my most inspirational moments since I got on BattleStar have been twofold. One was Diva Pramal and her music. It was the music that ended up becoming the focal point of all Bear's music and everything that we did. It was really the thing that changed the course of how we even looked at the piece. I remember when we were doing the pilot, after I had a fight with Leoben, and we shot that, I think, it was about the 7th day, 6th day, and went into a very strong understanding of what we were trying to do. But and the editor was a woman, what's her name? Diane. I'll remember it right now. But Michael Reimer's editor, and she came and she was working with him, and I went to see this rough cut of this one segment, and she says, you know, I don't have the music. It's the only thing. I've had a big problem trying to find the music for this. I said, hold back. I said, try this. And when I started the show, the moment I got the show, I had to find my music. And it was really touchy. It was very difficult. Anybody ever hear of Diva Pramal? Okay. Well, her chants and her mantras and the way she and her husband and all of the musicians worked on that. It was like what happened with BattleStar, with Miami Vice, with Phil Collins, you know. Once Phil Collins' music grabbed hold of Miami Vice and elevated it to another level, and that's what happened. We played, I said, try this, and I gave her the DVD, the CD of the music, and she just put the very first track down, and then she started the edited part of the fight that we were into. And of course, it was music for me. It was Adama's music. So I just said, you know, just try this, and it worked. It worked really well. She kept it. She downloaded the whole album, and she started using it, and it became the centerpiece. And that's where all of this kind of Gaelic, kind of African, but kind of, you couldn't tell what it wasn't, and the dialogue wasn't. There was no English spoken words in any of the music. It was all really old mantras. As a matter of fact, the first one we ever played was the oldest mantra known to humankind, human species. So it was the first one written, and Diva Pramal put it into music. It's a beautiful, beautiful mantra. And so we used that, and so I've been really in tune with music, the musical aspect of it, and of course the reading about with Ray Kurzweil. How many of you have read Kurzweil's books? Any one of them? Anybody? Two of us. Singularity is Near is just, and it's awesome. It's just like, it's a silent world. What it is, it's this little computer, and now I'm getting closer and closer to it, and I'm learning how to use it more and more. And all of a sudden, by my ability to use this little computer that's in my hand, it's a cell phone, it's one of these Blackberries, I now can Google and I can do things on this phone at fingertip. And it works at trillions of bytes per second, and brain works in billions, so it's made me smarter. And that's what the singularity is, the coming together between non-biological thought and biological thought coming to be one. And that's what all the Cylons were. They became non-biological creations and biological creations mixed together. And so it's really close. We're very close to it, and that's been my inspiration over the last, 8 years, 7 years since I started the show. My whole life changed. Trying to tune up to be in this show kind of got me to a higher level of awareness and understanding, which kind of happened to me on BattleStar, on Blade Runner, but not quite as so definitive. Blade Runner was a really interesting world that we walked into. And I remember when David Icke and Ron Moore and myself sat down the very first time when they invited me to become part of the show, and I had been invited to do other sci-fi work, but I'd never done it after Blade Runner. I didn't want to do anything else. There was nothing else that attracted me or really grabbed my imagination. And so, but when I read Ron Moore's script, I said, boy, if we walk through the world, right into the door of Blade Runner, that world, and we put this right in there, my God, you guys would hit a grand slam home run out of the park. Can we do that? And they said, that's what we're trying to do. And I said, okay, then I'm in. And that's when I said the great line that I've been quoted on forever. The first four-eyed monster I see, I'm going to faint on camera, and I'm off the show. Right? And then right now. Well, he died of a heart